day. Everything bleeds together sometimes, so you just never know. But every day is a great day. Hat's looking a little crazy as I'm looking right now, but it's okay. I love it. It's interesting, and it is who I am and whatnot. So, of course, like we have with everything, the sponsors that allow us to come and do what we do with sharing and providing value, that being Tomorrow's Food for Thought and Rock City Cafe. Both those individual entities with who they have running those different shops, Jasper and Ricky, just the passion that they have, the vision that they have. It's a beautiful thing. So grateful that we get to have them as our sponsors. If you haven't been to Rock City Cafe, highly suggest go check them out. The food's great. Tell Ricky that Scott said what's up. Show him some love. But yeah, if you're looking for some home food, home cooked food and whatnot, Ricky's the individual that you want to go talk to when it comes to that aspect at Rock City Cafe. But it's an interesting thing when you come across stuff on Facebook and you'll look at it and you'll be like, why is this popping up? And so maybe you don't go and do a deep dive and you don't go and look and say, well, why is this here? Why has this come across my feed for whatever reason? And if you go and do some research, you can find some really cool things. But if you are in the mindset of, I'm always getting sold to, there's stuff coming up here, well, then you're missing out on great opportunities with that horrible thought process there. Go and do the deep dive. Go check them out, because you never know what may come out of what you find, and it may be where it's not for you, which is okay. That's cool. Then you can really know that it's not truly for you. But last couple of days, I've been able to gather some great tools for the business with Two Native Sons, and also just with the different podcasts and whatnot. So grateful for that. But then Patrick and I tonight had the opportunity to catch up, meet up, and watch a live training for podcasting. And it has opened up our eyes for some different things that we kind of knew, but was just in there right in our face. And it's like, hey, look, here I am. Go and chase it. Go and see what's up. So yeah, it's one of those things that with what was taught in that class, some big power nuggets that came out of that, some big bombs, and just some things that we're chewing on and starting to formulate, and we'll be bringing into fruition with some different things. So big things coming, and it's a blessing because of the fact that it's always an opportunity to learn and grow. And so there was a couple things in here. Was it here? I'm not for sure. Let me look. I'm taking a look at my notes. Let us see. Oh, the interesting thing that was spoken in this training was the fact that you've got to develop a community of 1,000 true fans. But then as Patrick's listening, he's like, man, this is Seth Godin. And like I tell people, 75 true fans in your community, that really helps things grow. And it's the power of that community, the power of building that tribe and having those true individuals that are authentic, excited, and want to see things happen and see things grow. And it was interesting because the fact the gentleman was talking about The Rock and his launch with the tequila that he had created and come up with, and what really helped him launch huge and make huge waves in regards to the product and the brand that he was bringing out was through his community that he had built. That community of, I think he said he's got like 1.5 million followers or some craziness. So I'm not exactly for sure. I didn't go look it up, but it's powerful when you think about that. If you can build that true community, find those true fans that are excited, raving, and it comes down to the fact of creating and painting this big vision, this big goal, and having a vehicle where more people can jump in and go and chase after an idea, a situation, but also have the opportunity for them to go chase their own things. And as a tribe in a vehicle, working together to help those individuals grow whatever ideas that they have. And so that was one thing that really stuck out, how they had done a study, and originally it was 1,000 true fans, but then as Patrick's talked about, if you go listen to Seth Godin and listen to what he speaks on, it's the fact that you need 75 to 100 close tribe mates that really see big, really see things that can come out of it. And really, when you pick up and move, they're with you. They're moving along with you. So when you look at your circle that you have with that community that you're creating, and are you creating a community? But when you're creating your community, are there those true fans that truly will be there with you, help pick up, move, do whatever they need to? And are you being that authentic person to create and build that tribe, that community? And that's one of the big factors of using social media to your advantage and actually showing up emotionally naked, as I had talked about, I think it was yesterday, but that was from John Kim. And so I was talking to Q today, and I had brought that up, and I was like, think about what that would mean for you to show up emotionally naked. Like, what would that do for you as an individual? And if you think about that, that's one of those things that if you can just show up and be vulnerable and transparent, it makes everything so much simpler. It makes everything so much easier to move forward, to really create that trajectory, to move forward to the next level, because people want true. And so if you are fake, or if you're showing up fake in certain areas, people can sense that. People can tell. And so it's not a good thing. And so it's one of those things of playing big, playing out loud, and really doing the damn thing and going and doing it. And that's where it's talking about the fact of, for us, that Zafuji lifestyle, the fact of Zafuji is showing up, playing big, being true to yourself, trusting the process, and go doing the damn thing, instead of, oh my goodness, what is this person going to think? Oh, I'm scared to be judged. Fuck that shit. Screw that. Get over that. Move forward and go and do big things. Go and chase your dreams and get after your dreams, because you have those dreams for a reason. And so quit judging yourself, quit worrying about what other people are thinking, and go and do it. And just trust the process and see what comes out of it. Because the fact is, you're missing out on a lot of great opportunities, great chances to impact the life of somebody else. So get out of your own way. Are you on self, or are you on purpose? And if you're on purpose and you're going after that item, whatever it is, you're going to live out big, and you're going to inspire people, and you're going to be able to impact a lot of people by living on purpose, living for your purpose and chasing it and going and doing it. But it's a matter of, you've got to get out of your own way, and you got to quit being so scared and with the judgment piece. And so it's unique because during the training tonight, they were talking about the fact of, Travis was saying that you've got to have this identity already that is going to allow you to walk into your results. You're not going to get the results based on having an identity after. You've got to have this identity. You've got to create it. And that's all in your mindset. That's how you see yourself. That's how you view yourself. That's how you see things taking place, and walking into that identity to walk forward into the results that you want. And so it's one of those things that today I was reading, and reading Single on Purpose. I talked about this last night, but there was an item in here that John had highlighted, and it was powerful because as kids, as we're growing up, John's talking about the fact that when we grow up, we're all in exploring mode. Like, as kids, like, they don't have this worry. They don't have this fear. They just go and explore. So when did it get to the point where we've stopped exploring, where we've stopped searching and deciding to take risks and exploring that and seeing what happens? Because that risk that you take, it may work out well for you. And so you're going to explore that, but it may not work as well as you'd like it to, or it may crash and burn, but it's okay. It's exploring, it's figuring out, finding out who you are, really getting to that point and living out your purpose, living on purpose. And so it's unique because we get into this mode and we get locked into the achievement piece. And so instead of exploring and growing and having the progression, we're worried about, as I'm sitting on my cord, awesome. I'm trying to pull this and I'm like, what is going on here? But it's so unique to see that transitional period and see people go from exploring and going and testing and being in your own lab and creating experimentation and experimenting. And like I've talked about, building with your own blocks, tearing up the damn instruction booklet that somebody else is giving you, that's not even yours to build with. And so go and explore. But we've gotten to the point where we don't explore. We've given that up because we've let people steal our damn dreams. We've been around too many people that we end up getting into this crab in the bucket mentality where everybody is around you. And as you're trying to get up and go to that next level, people are pulling you down. And then after a while, you're like, why even try? Because it's not working. It's not working out. It's not doing anything. I'm always getting pulled down. And it's unique because I had a couple items. I had asked somebody to come on the podcast for the Journey Beyond Divorce. And I was like, if you don't want to, that's fine. And the person's like, well, is it okay if I tell you no? I was like, first off, I said, if you don't want to, that's cool. No big deal. And then they had described the fact that going in public speaking increases and enhances their anxiety. And I was like, man, so there's, I don't know. I don't understand. But I look back and when I look before my journey, I really did not like speaking in front of people. I was a very big introvert, and that may be hard to believe because of what you see now. But it's one of those things that I'm like, man, and you go read statistics, and people would much rather deal with death than public speaking. And it's like, are you like, really? Like, you have a message, you have a story. And you've got to get out of your own way. You've got to quit being selfish and share that message and story with somebody else. Because what you've gone through, what you've overcome, the challenges that you've went and chopped down and ended up overcoming and growing, somebody needs to hear that. Somebody needs to see it, that has been done and that it can be done. And so instead of putting that damn spotlight on yourself and being on self, be on purpose. And so this is why I'm big when I talk to people. I'm like, go do a damn live. Go do it, because you have a story, you have a message that somebody else needs to hear. And you need to focus on your story. You need to focus on that heart-centered message that is you, and share that. Share that with whoever. Share it with the world. You never know who needs to hear it. Somebody's going to come across it and be able to go and do big things. And then I'm blanking on the other one. I don't remember. I said there was two examples. I don't remember what the other one is. You gotta love it. What is it? I don't know. It'll come to me later, so it's all good. But oh man, we've got to change things. We've got to look at things differently. You've got to get over your fears, because if you're letting fear control you and you're saying, I'm scared to do this, so I'm not going to try, you're missing out. And on the other side of fear is life. And it's scary. It truly is, because you've been used to being in your comfort zone, and that's comfortable. That's what you know. And so getting past that and going over that boundary line that's been established because of the comfort zone that you built, you're missing out on huge, big things to take place. And you just got to do it. And it may be hard, and you're like, that's easier said than done. And it may be. But I also look, because of the journey and the growth and everything that I've had to work on, the personal development, that's flipped the script. That's flipped it in regards to how I view it, how I see it. And so it is a mindset piece. It's something that you've got to change, and you've got to work on adjusting that setting that you have your mindset on. You've got to adjust how you're speaking to yourself. Oh, I know what it was. There we go. So the other thing, the interesting thing is, I was talking to a friend of mine that I haven't talked to in a while. And they had this idea for a business. And I asked them, hey, how's it going? And as I remember you talking about this, and they had said, well, COVID came around, so it's harder than what I thought. And I was like, man, now you're listening to people and you're hearing just the words, the verbiage pop up. And then I brought this up. I was like, man, I got you. I understand. What we have to be mindful about, though, is your mind is very powerful. So if you are stating that it's hard and that it can't be done, and circumstances outside of you are controlling it and making it harder, your mind is going to find reasons to give you the answers to what you're saying, to what you're speaking. And then, so if you've got to be very mindful about your verbiage and your questions that you're asking yourself. And they came back and they're like, hey, I greatly appreciate the support. I thought they were going to come back and be mad at me, because sometimes when you speak truth and people don't want to hear it, it can be received wrong. But I think when it comes in regards to that, if you're coming about it in the proper way, with a proper heart and the proper mentality of trying to help somebody out to see a different perspective, it'll be received. And so you can't be scared about what the other person is going to tell you and say to you, because if you hold back and you don't speak it, they may miss out on something that they really need. And so that's where, for me, I'll speak. And sometimes I've gotten told to me that it may not be correct to do that. Maybe I need to bring it down, tone it down, but I'm not going to cut back. I'm not going to hide my true self because I'm fearful that I'm going to make somebody else mad. And it goes to that whole saying that if you're fearful to repel the few, you're going to miss out on attracting the many. So it's the same thing here. If I'm fearful that I'm going to repel somebody because of what I say and what I'm speaking, then I'm allowing that situation to control. But it may happen where that person receives it, they see it in a different light, different perspective, and they're like, okay, I haven't thought about that. Thank you for that. Thank you for the support. And so it's unique, but that's where sometimes people get in this rut of believing the bullshit that they tell themselves, these excuses of, I don't want to do it because I'm scared of being judged. I'm scared of somebody saying, see, I knew you couldn't do it. I knew you were going to fail. And so instead of even trying to go after it, they make excuses. They find different reasons to hold them back and keep them from going and pushing forward. It's unique because there was a class that I've been taking. It's done. But the individual that was leading it, he brought up the fact that people will want to do things, but then they find other things to say that they're busy and it's pertinent to building the business. And so he had shared this point and this perspective. He's like, okay, people are like, you need a website. And he brought it up. He's like, when was the last time you went and looked at a website to try to figure out who this person was or whatever? A lot of times people are going to social media to see who you are, to get that true feel. And so that's where the power of social media, the power of just showing up and being yourself, And that's why I'm real big with doing the lives. It's just another way that if I don't get the chance to connect with somebody, they still have the opportunity to go check out the social media. They can go check out my Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, whatever they want to, and find out who I am. I'm putting it all on the table. There's nothing that I'm trying to hide. So if you don't like it, cool. That's you. That's your lens. Ask yourself why you don't like it. If you love it, then cool. that's you. But I'm just here laying it out all on the table. And you know what? This is like a freaking digital business card here with these lives and going live. It's a damn digital business card. It's allowing people to actually get to know the true person if you're using it properly and showing up as your true solid self instead of trying to put up a front and be fake and play this mask game to try to appease to everybody, make everybody happy. It's like, screw that shit. Show up as yourself, take off the damn mask. Because I was talking to a good friend of mine, another coach, and he'll actually be on the Journey Beyond Divorce podcast with me. But he was talking about the fact that people get into a marriage and then all of a sudden the mask comes off and that person's looking and they're like, who's this person? And then it's like, people got married to the mask, and then the mask comes off and they see the true person, and then they flip out and they freak out and they're like, this is not, who are you? Where's that person that was here before? And so I was like, man, that's true. Honestly, that is true. And so I just have to laugh because it's just the correlation and the talks and just things that I see and that I've come across through the growth process and my experience. I was like, man, this is spot on. Here we go. And so I'm actually excited to have Dennis come on the divorce podcast. And it's unique because he calls himself the young coach. And so I'll let him share how he got to that. And it's powerful and it's exciting to be able to have those type of individuals in my life and really to be surrounded by other coaches that do other things. It's cool because it allows you to build that community and have other people that are coaches that you can lean on, and you can bounce ideas off of each other and just grow that relationship. So I'm excited. And it's exciting and it's huge. It's funny though that I see that. But there's plenty to go around. Let's go. Here we go. Big vehicle. Let's have everybody jump in. Let's see what we can do for each other. Let's go. Good time. So the other thing that had come up, let's see here. So within Single on Purpose, and this is, John talks about, he's like, even if you're in a relationship, this is still a book to read, because the fact that when people get in a relationship, they lose themselves and then they're tied up and their identity is a dang relationship. And so it was unique because he's talking about the disconnection piece with ourselves. And he was saying our search for what we're lacking sets off the toxic pattern of living from the outside in instead of the inside out. And this is stuff that I've brought up. This is stuff that I've talked about. And it's because of hearing it from different people, but also experiencing it and seeing it happen real time. So it's one of these things that it's inside work. Your insides impact your outside. And so everybody's like, well, it's the external that they feel and look at that. The external is the driving force. No, it's your inside is the driving force. And then what you're thinking and what you're believing is getting pushed out onto other people. And so it's unique because what you're pushing out, it's showing up in other people because you're pushing it out. And then you start seeing that you're missing it. And so that's where it's that inside work. You got to work on yourself. You got to work on that internal piece, and you got to work to complete yourself. You've got to work to love yourself for everything that has happened, your mistakes, your flaws, what makes you you, what makes you unique. It's a full thing. And so when I have the human dimensions catalyst coaching piece, it's because as humans, we're dimensional pieces and whatnot. And so we've got to work on these different pieces to get them in alignment. But that's that's work that the other person has to do. But if they don't want to do the work, it's not working. And so I talk about it's the fact and the idea of the hero's journey. It is your journey. It is your experience. You are the hero of your own life, but you've got people that are there to cheer you on, to support you, but they can't go do this journey for you. You've got to go do this journey. And then the other thing that he was talking in relationships, and this is the thing that when I speak on the most important relationship that we have to work on is a relationship with ourselves, because it bleeds out to everything else. And so in this chapter, John was talking about developing poor coping strategies that create a pattern of self-destruction. This creates more disconnection as we lose trust in others, but more important in ourselves. So think about that. If your relationship with yourself is piss poor and it sucks, you end up getting into the point that you can't trust other people. And so think about that. If you're always coming across and you're like, man, I really want to trust this person, but I can't, look at yourself. It starts with you. And it's funny because I've heard people that will be like, well, I trust myself, but I don't trust other people. Yeah, if you don't trust other people, you don't trust yourself. You're pushing that shit out on other people, and that's what's being reflected. And so it's funny how people will be like, yeah, I trust myself, but I don't trust other people. No. You truly don't trust yourself. And it's one of those things that you've got to work on. You've got to do the work. But that's the power of having a coach, a true coach. The reason I say true coach is there are people that will call themselves coaches, but they are more doing consulting and giving you their opinion and giving you the advice that you need to follow. And it's like, no, like that's not truly how this works. As a coach, you're there with that person, giving them the gentle accountability. On occasion, you may have to pull that mirror up and say, you're talking bullshit right now. Here's your bullshit, reflect it back to them. But other than that, you as an individual, you're the expert in your own life. And so you know what to do, but a coach is there for gentle accountability to help you go from that baseline to thriving in whatever area you work on. And so my big push when it comes to the coaching sector is working on the relationship with yourself. That relationship is the most important relationship that you have to work on, that bleeds into everything else. And so one of the things that you have to be mindful about is the story that you're telling yourself, and also learning and loving an aspect. So a couple things to be mindful about. But it's not easy, because how do we get to the point where we can love ourselves when we haven't been shown true love by anybody else? Like you have your parents and whatnot, but parents have jacked up. Parents have done huge things to screw us all up. And so it just bleeds. And so that's where, as individuals, we've got to plant the flag and say enough is enough. We've got to work on ourselves and do the work and change things and have the change occur for the better going forward. But again, it goes back to you as the individual doing the work. And sometimes that's scary, because when you're doing the work, you're getting to the point where you're having to question the beliefs. You're having to question the paradigm that you've been given, that's been created for you by other people. And so is that stuff serving you? Is the beliefs that somebody else has stuffed in your head, is that serving you? Is the paradigm, the instruction booklet that you have, serving you? Or is it not functioning properly for you, and you need to go in there and tear it down? You've got to start ripping it out and doing what you need to. So, yep, just some things to think about, some things to consider and whatnot. Any aha moments that you took away from this, love to hear and put them in the comments. Any that you're needing help with, anything that you check on and you're like, I don't know what to do, reach out. Send myself, Patrick, send it to the Two Native Sons Facebook page, Instagram page, whatever. Find some form of communication to reach out to us, to hit us up. We'll sit down, talk, see what's going on, and be there for you, help you to find that grace and greatness inside of yourself. And then just helping you experience and get to the life that you want and whatnot. So, but we also have the YouTube channel. Go search Two Native Sons on YouTube. Go like, subscribe, follow, help grow that channel, and share it with other individuals. Like I said, there's people that need to hear this message. Who that is, we don't know. But we got to quit being selfish and on self, and we've got to get out there and just share it, because somebody else needs to hear it. Who it is, we don't know, but there's people that you know that I don't know. There's people that you know that Patrick doesn't know. And so the only way this is truly going to reach those people is by you sharing it. So other than that, appreciate your guys' supports. I love every one of you, each and every one of you, for who you are, the support that you show, but also the big things that you're chasing after and dreaming. And other than that, I'll catch you guys later. It's Tuesday early morning, so went from Monday late evening to early Tuesday morning. Other than that, you guys have a great day. I'll catch you guys later. Love you. Peace out.